I'm so excited. I'm in the house of one of my oldest and dearest friends, Pinny Stieglitz, to show us the amazing books, Judaica, and treasures that he has in his own home. It's going to be great. Our series, Show and Tell, will take you inside some of the great libraries, both public and private, to explore books and treasures from Jewish history. Okay, take us a little bit. What are we looking at? What do we have over here?
So that is from Mantua around 1750, and it's a sumptuary law. It's
Sumptuary. What
sumptuary
on earth
law.
does
So
that
Cecil
mean?
Roth deals with this in one of
Okay.
his books. The Jews all over Europe, but especially in Italy, had to be very careful not to upset their neighbors with their ostentatious display of wealth.
Really?
So the city had to self-impose sumptuary laws on its own Jews.
Keep it low key.
To keep it low key. You couldn't wear...
The non-Jews imposed it on the Jewish community.
The Jews had to self-impose it.
Okay, so what were some of the rules?
No black velvet for people. They just couldn't wear black velvet.
Too glamorous.
Too glamorous. The amount of buckles on your shoe. The amount of people that you could invite to a simcha.
This is the original wedding takana.
This is the original wedding takana, and it's all in this sumptuary law here from Mantua.
And what year again is this?
Around 1750, 1775.
It's so funny. And we tried to do it again. It probably didn't work. Did people listen? Do we have any idea if people listened?
I think they did. Now, there's more to this than just the fear of, as they say in Yiddish, auszustechen de Augen, to tear out the eyes of the Gentiles.
Yeah.
We did. Besides that, people were spending so much more than they could afford. Does this sound?
It sounds vaguely familiar.
It does sound vaguely familiar. So they had to impose laws against gambling. People were were spending all their money on
like crypto traders now.
Yeah, and Yehuda Arya Modena wrote a book about gambling. He himself was a terrible gambler, inveterate gambler.
Yes, the Ari Noam.
Ari Noam is written maybe by him, probably by him. Anyway, so no silver buckles, no the amount of people invited to a wedding or a bar mitzvah. Also, depending on how much charity you give, is how much you can spend on one of these.
There was a parallel.
Yes, exactly. If you contributed to the community,
if you contribute,
so then they would allow you more guests.
Do we know the Rabbanim who were involved in assembling this together?
Unfortunately, I'm not lithe enough to get up and take that down right now. But there are the names on the bottom are the community leaders.
Are any of them still well known today? Or
I don't think so. I don't remember any famous rabbis.
Can you tell me what's right next to it? That map. It's a beautiful.
So that's actually something I went to someone's house about 30 years ago.
Okay.
And they didn't have any Hebrew books, or if there were Hebrew books, they were Siddurim.
Yeah.
But I said, "What's that?" And she said, "You could have it. I'm moving." That is a hand-drawn map of Israel, and it's not a realistic map. The person was not a cartographer, but he has it in layers. But there are pictures of Yerushalayim. There's pictures of the Batei Kfaros where Rabbi Akiva and Miron, and it's all on layers. So the bottom is probably the Mediterranean, and the top is like Lebanon. And
you know what year it's from?
Yeah, about 1890, and we know who did it. His name was Pinny. I'm serious.
That's part of why you like it. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Can you, maybe you could...
one more thing. This is the Blood Libel of Trent. And this is a etching, a contemporary etching, showing the Jews draining the blood from the little boy. And
why did they print this? Who printed this up? Jews or non-Jews?
Non-Jews.
Because they want to show the world. This is like,
and
show them what they're doing.
And you see he's wearing the Jew's hat. These are Jewish people around here, and they are literally draining the blood from this boy. Of course, we know now, we knew then that this was a libel, but these people believed it. Now Simon of Trent became a saint.
Where was this printed? Where was this disseminated? It's like in a newspaper, it's in a book?
This is in German. And I believe that Trent at the time might have been part of Germany. I'm not 100% sure. But because it's in northern Italy.
Sure.
And there are a lot of Germans there. So
it's kind of heartbreaking that you're...
So these names are Meyer, Vital, Chaim,
Yeah.
Grenda, all sorts.
They named the characters in the picture.
No, these are actual people who were then
Well, they
executed.
were libeling specific people.
And they were executed. And
They were killed
and I
because
believe,
of this accusation.
Yeah. It's a very famous...
It's kind of heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking. And this is not the first libel. This was a later
I'm curious,
libel.
why do you hang it on your wall?
For people to know that this is what
This
we
really took
endured.
place.
Yeah,
This is
this
what
is
really
not
took
a
place.
joke. Yeah.
Is this very valuable? I just have to ask.
You know, I don't think it's very valuable. I bought it on eBay. I spotted it, and I knew what it was. I had seen
How'd
the
you know it was
etching.
authentic?
I didn't know, but the way to know is usually to know who the seller is. And he has a cheskas namonos.
Okay, he had a presumption of reliability.
Right. I bought other things from him, so I was confident. And you could see it's laid down paper and...
you have an eye for how to spot,
you could
spot
tell.
what's real. Okay.
Yeah.
Could you maybe, just
Sure.
before we sit down, a part of what I want to hear from you is like, what got you into collecting? Like, what got you into collecting? And I'd love to hear, because I grew up, you sat right behind me in shul. You would come to shul with a sefer, and I remember you always learn, and my father used to always tap me and nudge me and tell me, like, he knows a lot, this person. You and my dad were not close friends.
We were not. He actually helped save my life.
That's a different story. That I do know. I do. That was later on.
That was later on.
But we weren't close friends, but my father, I remember, used to say, and he would always mention your father. Because I feel like
So that's my father.
That's what, yeah.
That's my father. That's him
So-
at his chassan's tish. And this is the Bluzhever Rebbe.
This is the Bluzhever Rebbe.
This is the Amshnever Rebbe.
Okay.
And this is the Radziner Rebbe. So he had
The Radziner Rebbe, like from
the
Ishbitz?
Baal from Ishbitz.
This is the Baal Tcheles?
No.
Is his
So
son?
he was the son of the Adam, of the son-in-law of the Radziner Rebbe.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is your father?
That's my dad.
Was he Hasidish, your father?
He was Hasidish born.
Yeah.
And in Shanghai, he still had a beard.
Okay.
But on the way over to the U.S., he shaved it and he never put it back. He never grew a beard again. He was a modern thinking man, but he was a Talmud Chacham.
Did he continue learning his entire life?
His whole life. He gave a daf shir for 3 cycles.
And I feel like for you, like your initial love of learning and books and all this
came from him,
your father.
Yes. And but my initial connection to rare books actually came from my mother's father, who had a Rambam, which I'm going to show you in a few minutes, and he promised it to me for my bar mitzvah. And
when you were 13.
When I was 13.
And that's where the fascination began.
But he didn't give it to me until he came back from Israel to go into a nursing home, and this was his treasure, and he gave it to me.
And that was
like
the initial love.
That was the initial contact with a rare book. I really hadn't seen many before that. I had a lot of scholarly books.
And how old were you when you finally got that Rambam?
I think I was about 35 or 40.
So this was a midlife love.
Midlife, yes. It started only 30 years ago. Yeah.
That you started to really immerse yourself in the world of Jewish books.
Let's use the word obsess. So I think I did show you this book. This is the book, and this is the book I was talking about. This is the book my grandfather gave me.
This is what began it all.
This is what began. At 13, he said to me, would you like these Rambams for a bar mitzvah present? And I said, I would like it, but right now get me a new Rambam, and you'll give me this later on.
Yeah.
So I got 2 Rambams.
Two Rambams.
Yeah.
What makes this special?
So this is printed in 1574, Shin Lamed Daled. And what's special about it, it's the first edition with Rav Yosef Kairo's Kesef Mishnah.
This is the first time that Rav Yosef Kairo's famous commentary, Kesef Mishnah, is being printed with the Rambam.
With the Rambam.
And Rav Yosef Kairo
was still alive.
Is still alive, because you see right after his name,
it says Natrei Rachmanei Porkes.
meaning he's still alive,
his
protect
life,
him.
Exactly.
This is in his lifetime.
Exactly.
And the binding, I'm just curious.
The binding is brand new.
This is brand new.
And
you
actually,
bound it, or
I bound it.
Okay.
It came in pieces to me. It was in very bad shape.
How did your
My grandfather bought this for $25 in 1958.
$25, what is this worth now?
People are getting over $20,000.
Over $20,000 for this now.
Yeah. Now, the Ramam Efano was the Magia on this sefer, on the Rambam.
In this
edition.
His handwriting?
No, he was the editor.
Oh, he was
the
in editor.
charge. He lived in Italy.
Sure.
And also, This was, by the way, was printed by Bragadin, a very famous printer in Italy. And
what's this on?
And Mayor Parenzo was also involved in the printing of this thing. It
Is
says
there Rambam Pano's name anywhere? Or
it might be mentioned somewhere, but I know Rambam Pano was mentioned, and Mayor Parenzo was involved in this. Al Yedei HaKoton, Mayor Parenzo. And I was once in the back of a car with somebody coming back from a wedding, and the man said, or the young man said, that his name was Parenzo. And I said, I know a Parenzo, Mayor Parenzo. He says, he was my great-grandfather.
Great, like all the way
exactly,
back. But he knew that he descended from
positively,
this printing.
Yes.
He was like a major printer.
He was, yeah.
16th century
and,
printer.
by the way, there is this Venus ascending, and you see a dragon around her.
Why would they put a nude Venus on the inside of a Rambam?
But this must be a printer's mark. This is Bragadin's printer's mark.
Okay.
These three crowns. Again, the Shlosh Iksarim that we were talking about in the Shla. And this was someone else's printer's crown mark before it was Bragadin's. Quite a few people use this. But this appears, it says, Vayisav HaMelech Yefech. So
let's put it down so we could see, really.
So I just want to mention to you that both Rav Yosef Kairo, the Rambam Mifano, and Meir Parenzo did see this picture and did not seem to object. He was still alive. The Italians were very concerned about the quality of the printing, so they used clean water as opposed to, let's say, Prague, which used dirty water from the Danube, and the Sfarm from Prague are very dark.
But these have held up beautifully.
Yeah,
and you see the Kesef Mishnah.
It's gorgeous.
This is his
it's
text.
Gorgeous.
And this is the first time that's being printed along with the Rambam.
The first time. And there are only 4 volumes because most of the Nesa Kalim and the Rambam haven't even been born.
Because all the other commentaries, they're not alive yet.
Yeah. So there's a Ravid and there's a Kesef Mishnah.
It's stripped down.
Yeah.
And a Maggid Mishnah.
Yeah. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. Beautiful.
Yeah.
This is the first edition of the Responsa, the Teshuvos of Rebbe Akiva Eiger, the great Rebbe Akiva Eiger.
Right.
And he did something very interesting in the introduction. He wrote a letter to his children asking them what?
To publish this book beautifully. That the paper should be beautiful. The font should be beautiful. And he even asked for them to include pictures in the book. And the pictures are whimsical.
But before you even get that, generally when books were published in Warsaw, was it an issue? Was it a concern?
Warsaw books, especially a little later, were terrible. Because
why?
They were printed on acidic paper.
They all fell apart.
It fell apart.
Brittle, it crumbles.
Yes. If you turn the page, this is
not Chuvas Rebbe Akiva Eiger.
It's printed on cloth paper. And in the Haggadah, it mentions the fact
right
that,
in the introduction, the letter to his children is this: you have to print it, and not just the ideas should look beautiful, but the very medium should look beautiful. This is an early Marshall McLuhan. But look over here. To beautify it, they included pictures in this first edition. A light tower. And it has nothing to do with the Responsa.
It has no connection to the book.
And there are others, right?
Yeah, there was a duck, if I remember. Oh, here's a picture of a tree. Okay, so you see trees in books.
Here's a tree.
You know,
the lighthouse. But where's the duck?
Oh, here's the bird.
Here's a little songbird.
Yeah, I don't know what sort of bird. I thought it was a duck. And I think there's a third one, actually.
They actually put beautiful pictures inside the Responsa.
He thought that this would be a good idea. Put a picture of a bird or a lighthouse.
Let's make it really beautiful.
Yeah, and it's really,
I love that.
And it's really amazing because you don't find this in any sefer.
Now, I always have to ask, what is the first edition of Chuvas
for many years, the Chuvas Rebbe Akiva Eiger did not go for much money. Lately, it's been going for more, also around $1,000, $1,500, and I'm very surprised. There's been an uptick in the important Sfarim, Amudei Tavach, Sfarim that are... So Sfarim that are important
and that are well known by the public.
Yeah, people, it's Sfarim that we learned in Yeshiva, Pnei Yeshua's, Aksos. Aksos goes for a fortune today. A Minchas Chinuch goes for a fortune today.
When you say fortune, first edition Minchas Chinuch?
$10,000.
Really?
Yeah, Minchas Chinuch even more.
Because it's the public wants it more. They know about it. They've heard about it.
When you look at collectibles, let's take baseball cards.
Yeah.
My era, people of my age want a Mickey Mantle card.
Yeah.
People of an earlier age, and even now, wanted Babe Ruth or Ty Cobb or Lou Gehrig. You want the person of your childhood. You want You want the now in
The names, the familiarity, the
Yeah.
nostalgia.
Yeah.
Did you collect baseball cards?
I did. I was always a collector.
Did you hold on to your baseball card?
No, my
collection?
mother threw them in the garbage.
But not the Rambam.
No.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So that's the Rav Akiva Eiger.
So
and
what's
this is a medallion that was done in Berlin, and this says Tsuras Rash Kebahag, Rav Akiva Eiger Zatzal, and then it says
The image of Rabbi Akiva Eiger.
yeah, this is
It's a gold medallion.
yeah, it's not gold.
It's not real gold, but
it's
a look
it's a
gold.
really cheap kind
It's
of
chipping a little bit.
Yeah,
you
it's
could say,
chipping.
yeah.
Yeah. And it says Abad the Kilas
Bezdin,
Kadosha Posen of
the
Posen.
chief kind of legal authority in Posen.
L'zichron Yom Ptiraso, in memory of
the day he
of his
passed.
yahrzeit. Tishrei, Yud Beis Tishrei, Shnas, Tov Kuf
Yud
Tzaddik
Gimel or Yud
Ches.
Beis? I think that might be a Gimel.
It could be a Gimel,
Gimel,
yeah,
okay.
maybe.
What year is that?
1838.
1838.
And this was
The
issued in
100th anniversary,
1938.
1938. Who issued it?
The city
Jewish
of Berlin.
community or the
The
non-Jewish?
Jewish community of Berlin. This is Andenken Rav Akiva Eigers zur 100 Wiederkehr seines Todestage. So the 100th year of his...
And they gave it out to who? To
to the
people-
Gemeinde in Berlin in
1937
September
of Berlin.
Berlin. This is the I
This
read.
is right before the
this
Holocaust.
is the last major event, Jewish event, that took place in Berlin.
Before the Holocaust.
Hitler was in power since 1933.
So how did this survive Berlin 1937?
Well, I have to tell you, I heard that there are knockoffs. This I bought at an auction. I heard. I was told that it was real, and it was done September 18th, 1937. So that must be the 100th year, because
It's just
Tishrei is
remarkable.
September.
I didn't put it together. He
Yeah,
died in
yes.
1838, and this is in 1937, the 100th year.
Yes,
And this is like on the footsteps
of the
of the
destruction
actual
of European
destruction
Jewry.
of European
Yeah.
Jewry.
This is a beautiful Haggadah that came from a Christie's auction, actually. This was a very famous book collector, and there was his name was Zagayski, and
Okay.
he had a collection of Hebrew books, amongst them this Haggadah. And the Haggadah is gorgeous. First of all, there's this beautiful manuscript provenance, and it says, Shayach laharav David Ulma of Mannheim, Sheyichya in Mannheim. And you don't see this in Haggadot. There are also some prices here. Now, the Haggadah is nice. It has, very nice etchings, but these appeared before many times. But this has the famous map of Israel. And this actually is not a map of Israel. I could show you another Haggadah with the map of Israel. This is a map showing the peregrinations of the Jews in the Midbar.
Wow.
And
Do you know why in a Haggadah is this being printed?
Well,
Because this is about
it's
redemption,
about Pesach to
Yeah.
coming into Israel. The whole
redemption,
purpose
and they
of
want what are we
yeah,
waiting for?
Exactly.
This is it. Give you some visual
Yeah.
imagery.
And the other
me excited
the
for
other
it.
map actually
What is it
has
there?
his name on the back or somewhere. I think this should have it too. You see, it says fetch it 1753. It says made in 1753. This map. It could have been done by the same man.
Is this valuable?
It is valuable. The map.
Really?
The Haggadot, and I have the two Amsterdam ones, one from 1695 and one from 1712. They go for 5,000, 10,000, somewhere in that area.
Wow.
Somewhere in that area. Lately, maybe they've fallen a little bit, but because books go up and down,
Sure.
like everything. But those are valuable. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay, here's your pig Bible.
So I affectionately call this the Pig Bible because when you first showed this to me, you said there's something very interesting about this Bible. When was it printed?
I think it was printed in 16. It was printed in a very nice year, Shana Tova, which means 1618.
Now, what I always found interesting about this, and I affectionately call this the Pig Bible, is that it was bound, and you see the stick binding was bound with
Pigskin.
Now, is that unusual? Why would somebody bind a it's a Tehillim. Why would you buy?
Well, it's actually part of the Mikros Gedolos that Yehuda Arya Modina published,
together.
printed.
Why would you use pigskin, which is, we don't associate that with the holiness of the law?
Okay, number one, you could see that this Bible was owned by non-Jews. So that's one reason, even though it was also owned by Jews. But I will tell you that I didn't find this book interesting because of the pigskin. You were the one who got happy about that.
Yeah, I got excited over the pigskin.
I was very surprised to see a imprint in leather of Charles, the King of Spain, the Holy Roman Emperor. That's Charles.
Imprinted on the leather.
On the leather. It's embossed into the leather.
How do you know?
Because I...
Oh, I could see it now.
Yeah.
I could see it now.
You see he has a scepter and he has an orb. And
that's cool.
And there are words written here in Latin, which
which Charles is this?
Charles V, the King of Spain, the Holy Roman Emperor. And it says...
Oh, you have this translated here.
Well, I don't have it translated.
Or
it says
out.
Carol Mortalis Dubitant, which I think means Charles will ultimately die. And then here, line 3 is hominis tua facta Dei, something to do with man and God. And this is a portrait of Charles Martel with his épée, with his sword, and his scepter.
Was he a friend of the Jews?
I don't think so. So I don't believe that this had anything to do originally with Jews. I think possibly non-Jews owned this Mikros Gedolos. That's my opinion.
I can't thank you enough. Tell us a kind of conclusion. Why do you love rare books?
I was always a collector. I collected stamps as a kid. I collected baseball cards. I collected coins. I'm a collector by nature.
But you don't collect coins or stamps anymore.
I don't.
You collect rare Jewish books.
Yeah.
Why do you love it so much?
I like the authors. I like, there's something almost mystical about it. It's more than just owning things. It's really but I don't only collect Sfarim. I collect Jewish art. I have a lot of Jewish art books. But Sfarim is what really makes me happy, especially... beautifully printed books from Venice and from Mantua and from Riva di Trento. Riva di Trento is that city of Trent where the Simon of Trent was.
Penny, I cannot thank you enough.
My
this
pleasure.
has been absolutely fascinating.